Today's episode of Shift Break is brought to you by Odeco, taking the pain out of the ordering and inventory process, making it easy and accurate. The fact is that nobody really gets into coffee because they love to order stuff and do the inventory, but getting on top of that and being on top of the numbers and having an accurate system, that's a real driver for success in your business. Odeco is here to help you with that process. And what they do is they use AI to put your sales data to work for you. They couple past sales with local weather and events to predict exactly what you're going to need in the store in the future. Their virtual purchasing agent then automatically places the order based on those predictions. This has an over 90% accuracy rate, and they have saved their customers tons of time and money in the process. And this is automated, centralized, optimized ordering for your cafe, and you really can't go wrong by trying them out. And in order to do that, you can go to odeco.com/keys to the shop. That's ODEKO, odeco.com/keys to the shop. Today's episode is also brought to you by the Ground Control Cyclops Brewer from Voga Coffee. This is a revolutionary brewer that elevates your batch brew coffee above pour-over quality at scale. The Ground Control is the winner of the SCA's Best New Product Award, and it gives you unprecedented control over a broader range of flavors in your coffee than you ever thought possible. Personally, I've been able to taste the results, and it was really impressive. Truly unlocked flavor that I wouldn't have expected to be unlocked just with a few tweaks of the brew parameters. And it was so easy to do, genuinely impressive. And this machine is really simple to train your staff on as well. It's used by some of the best operators out there, and if you truly want to get the most from your coffee, set your shop and your coffee apart, all while being able to visually engage your customers, then you're going to want to get a Ground Control Cyclops brewer in your store. To do that, you can just go to vogacoffee.com. That's VOGA coffee.com. Just follow the link in the show notes, vogacoffee.com. All right, so today I wanted to talk to you about prioritizing your work. This is especially something that I am addressing managers with, people who are answering to a couple of different quote-unquote bosses, right? There's your boss is the owner or the general manager or whatever. GMs, this is also for you. But you also have the baristas. You've got a lot of people depending on you for input and problem solving, but you only have so much time in the day. The first thing I would say is, of course, you should be planning out your week on a regular basis. Maybe that happens on like Sunday for you in determining how you're going to be spending your time. But absolutely, you need to be thinking about, what am I going to do this week? Rolling into your day without a plan is a surefire way to become super frustrated, especially when you have lots of different projects going on and lots of different people that you are that you're communicating with. So sitting down for even 20 minutes and thinking, okay, when I walk in the door Monday, from Monday to Friday, or whatever your week looks like, here are the things that I need to do. Here are the things that I am definitely always going to do every week. Where do they go? How do I prioritize these things is the next question. What is your job description? You have to do those things first. Prioritize your main responsibilities from the owners. So what does your boss want you to do? That's the very first thing that you need to put on your list and give the most attention to. So if you know that you have maybe the morning where your mind is the most fresh, that's going to be a time to schedule yourself to do the things that you know you're expected to do and will be held accountable for in a review. Okay, so that's number one. What is it that the owners have expected from you, and how are you going to prioritize that in the week? Give that the first place in your first energy of the week. It's really helpful to think about this in terms of energy too, because if mornings are not your best time, and evenings are. Then you can use the mornings for other things and use your best time for the things that give the most return to the business. You can easily get into this mindset where you start to make work for yourself that you think is good for the business, but nobody asked you to do it. And then you get really burned out, especially because you end up taking on a bunch of things. You collect responsibilities for yourself, and almost nobody knows that you're doing it except you. And then you don't get recognized for it, basically because nobody knew you were doing it, and it wasn't your job. This is a vicious cycle that managers can get into because they want to prove themselves, sometimes by overworking, sometimes by trying to do projects that they think are extra credit or bonus. But I'll tell you 100% that the best thing you can do is prioritize your job description, prioritize what the owners want from you first, and you'll be in good standing and maybe even have more opportunity in the future to take on those projects that you think are valuable. But don't take time away from your main responsibilities to do pet projects that you think are better. It will not go well for you, I guarantee you. I've lived this, I know. So that's the first thing. The second thing in prioritization of your work is, what are the cafe and staff goals that have been arrived at by collaboration? In other words, what has the group decided is a good thing to do that now you're in charge of? So if as a cafe you decided that you wanted to do a theme on a particular day, and you now are responsible for coordinating the project of that theme, you are responsible for that thing. That is not necessarily in your job description, and you still need to give priority to the work that the owners want you to do. But there's also this extra project that you are now responsible for coordinating. This is essentially like when you sit down with the staff and decide that you want to take on a special project for an event at the cafe, like a throwdown. Like you want to coordinate a throwdown, that's now part of your responsibility. It's a group thing. Everyone's agreed. The owners have said, yeah, that's cool. It's a la carte. It may be not happening every year, but it's now part of your responsibility. That's the next in line for your time to make sure that you're going to carry through with that, democratically decided project underneath the responsibilities you have from the owners. The next thing here is the on-the-fly needs from staff that just come up on a daily basis. Now, there's some of these things that you can just address right away, but sometimes it's really tempting to take all your time to address them right away when really they don't need to be addressed right away. If it's a problem with somebody's schedule in 2 weeks, and they say, I have a wedding to attend 2 weeks from now, and I didn't get it off, and I didn't request the time off actually, but I need to get it worked out. I wonder if you can help me. You don't need to drop everything in that moment to help them. You can put it on your schedule to help at a particular time where you've still prioritized your main responsibilities and the other projects that you've got going on. And looking at every little thing in a critical way will help you categorize them in order of like urgency and importance. Kind of borrowing the example of the 4 quadrants of urgency and importance from Stephen Covey. I'll link to that in the show notes here. But yeah, the 3 things from a prioritization standpoint are you have to get those main responsibilities from the owners in your job description. You got to give those the priority throughout the week. Give it your best energies and make sure you do them regularly and well. Next would be these projects that you've taken on. Yeah, everyone's agreed that are good to do and they're a go, like a throwdown or whatever. And then next, there's going to be the on-the-fly needs that just pop up from the staff, and you have to assess whether or not those are in the moment needs or things that can be scheduled and taken care of in an orderly way. And this is really going to give you some peace of mind to know that not everything is urgent and important. Now, of course, if there's a flood in the cafe, power went out, whatever, there's going to be emergencies, but not everything is an emergency. Really, the theme here is take a critical look at what you're saying yes to and what you're taking on as a manager, and give priority in this order, and you will see your week start to clear up a little bit. At least you'll see your head start to clear up a little bit. I really do want to emphasize again how important it is that you don't try to impress people by taking on things that they don't ask you to do and then hoping that they give approval for it, and in process burning yourself out. I do want to stress again, though, for managers here, it's really easy to fall into this trap of trying to take on more than is expected in order to gain points and then get disappointed when people don't recognize the work. Work at being recognized for the work you're hired for and prioritize your time accordingly, and you're going to be much happier as a manager. And again, you might find that those things you want to take on in the future are given a little bit more momentum by your performance in the past. So I hope that this was helpful for you. These are things that I've definitely lived myself through many years of coffee. And thank you for joining me. And I'll see you here next week on another edition of Shift Break, from keys to the shop.